peace and power. We are here in summer officially. Now that the sun has moved into Cancer, it's almost the equivalent to when you were in school and couldn't wait to go jump into a swimming pool, because we are in a water sign now. The waters are flowing, Cancer is moving, and this energy just promote circulation. You know, when you're talking about the waters, you're talking about motion. You're talking about things moving and being transformed in the waters, things being submerged and being cleansed. You know, that's a big part of this summer season, at least this beginning portion until we get into Leo, is about cleansing. It's about getting dipped in those cool waters. It's about going into the deep parts of the mind, deep parts of yourself. Now that you're at a state where you've been through so many stations, that you're able to really look within and see what has brought you so far, right? Because summertime represents adulthood. You know, oftentimes in adulthood, we're able to get a little deeper into the weeds of what makes us tick. So yes, we're in Cancer, and let's see what energies pop up for us as far as advice while we're in this sign, right? Because the next time we're going to do this is when we are in Leo, which is fixed. That's midsummer. This is the start of summer. Do I want to use this deck or use this one? I think I want to use this one. That one's too new. I need something with some energy on it, I think. You don't want to put too much thought into these kinds of things, though, because you can derail what was supposed to come out. I think that's enough shuffling, though. I think that's enough shuffling. Let's see what happens. Let's go through the cards and see what pops up, all right? The card that represents us and where we've been right now is the King of Earth. A lot of us have been pretty survival-based, really just kind of doing what we need to do to keep things going financially. You know, we've been eating, you know, doing the basics. But then there's been some planning around those things. Maybe some of us need more resources. Maybe some of us have resources but need to learn how to sustain it so we don't run out of resources. You know, you got this King of Earth, he's upside down, which shows that there might be some financial trouble. You know, people have been going through some things. There might have been some waste. There might have been things, you know, not necessarily being preserved, you know, but that there's been holes, right? So the next one is this Ossian card, also represents us, which is Cancer. We're in Cancer. Saying there's also been some emotions that we've been going through, looking into deeper aspects of the self. Some of us have been moody. Some of us have been changey. Some of us have been around people that have been moody. And this card also talks about the importance of having used charms or things rooted in the earth to get by. So we might come back and revisit that card, but that card represents us saying, yo, even though we're injured, we're still standing, okay? Now, the card that represents our relationship is ancestors. That's upside down as well. So as far as our relationships are concerned, there are some prayers, some active meditations. There are things that you could be playing around the house, like certain songs, things that excite your ancestors. You know, think about your ancestry. What would get your grandma excited? What would get your grandfather excited? You know, if you have a shrine, what would get your shrine excited? You know, or an altar, what would make your altar happy? It's a good time to be doing like spell work, magic work, prayer, anything external around your relationship. You know what I mean? So you can even ask your partner, like, hey, can we do a orange ritual where I eat half the orange and say something lovely about you and you say it about me, you know? But there's something about pleasing your ancestors, you know, in some ritualistic way in honor of your beloved, right? So that's coming out. The next card we have is the Chariot. This is another card ruled by Cancer, which is really interesting. So we've had during this time of Cancer, we've had two Cancer cards pop up. We've had two Cancer cards and a Scorpio card. These are all water signs. All water signs are popping up. So we have a lot of water right now. And so the Chariot's talking about, as far as our creativity, you know, we definitely still want to go deep into our emotions. If it doesn't touch you emotionally, don't do it. If it's not something you don't want to do, you know, find the love in it if you're going to do it. Don't do it out of force or because someone else is rushing you or whatever. It's a good time for you also to go into the subconscious and let parts of you speak that maybe you're ashamed to let speak. And it's a really good time to pull from your dreams as well. All right, I'm trying to keep this short today because there's some longer videos coming. The next card is the Trickster. That's in regards to your job. It's saying that some of us have to be a little bit more aggressive if we're going to get ahead with the things that we want to learn. It's going to be important for us to adopt some of this Capricorn energy. This is the first Earth card that's popped up, so it's going to take a little bit of earth, less water, for us to get the money, for us to get the consistent income we need. We got to be more, we got to become the trickster. We got to work our way up to the top. We got to outsmart and learn the rules of the game. All right. The biggest cards working against us right now are the King of Fire and the Hanged Man. So the King of Fire warns about being quick to just hop into your fiery emotions. This is a time for patience. It's a time for chilling out. You know, it's not a time for you to make fast judgments and to move that way. It's a time for you to be very aware. If you're right, you can look at it this way. If you're getting angry, you're completely off the mark right now. Anger is not the solution right now. If you're at anger, you've missed the boat. All right. And what this Hangman card is implying is that a lot of us are getting angry so we don't have to do the deeper work. Okay. Do not try to subvert the anger. Find the core of it and then move wisely around your triggers. And then analyze your triggers, right, once they've been exposed. Use this as a time to expose the triggers as opposed to letting your front man defend your triggers, all right? Because it's not justified just because you're upset that you talk to that person that way or whatever it is, all right? So we want to be very careful not to hurt and offend during this beginning summer phase, all right? Next thing is, as far as family, temperance, balance. All right, so we're gonna have to actually block out time for our families. If you're not someone who's very family oriented or whatever, it's gonna be important to balance that consciously, because we're about to be so busy and in our little world that even 20 minutes of family time isn't gonna feel, it's gonna feel too long. And so we have to literally plan the family time. So create blocks of family time so that the love can come in and so that you can observe those loved ones as they develop, because this is a very important time to pay attention to your loved ones, right, as they're growing. We also got Mother of God. This is a very powerful card that I could talk a long time about, but I like to keep these particular videos short. This is in relation to the thing we need to do, right? And this card is about selfless service. So it's a bad time to be wondering if you're doing more than the next person, and if and if things are really balanced, and did you wash an extra dish? No, if you see this card, it means if you see it, you do it. You're not worried about, oh, I washed the dishes this time. You're not worried about that. You're just doing what you need to do, and you're having full, complete trust, if your partner's truly trustworthy, that they're doing what they can. This is not a time to harass or push. This is a time to be very understanding and to see yourself as being in service, right? It's also saying to trust and have faith in your process, all right? Our future card is Death. So we're going through a serious transformation right now. There's before we hit Leo, there's some stuff we got to let go of. There's some sacrifices that need to be made. Some of us have some really serious choices to make coming up. The overall card is the Bear Tree. All right, and the Bear Tree deals with showing up, performance, harmonizing, bringing things together that don't usually come together. So it's a time of alchemy. It's a time of pulling things together that don't usually meet, You know, you have a bear and you have a tree, but you're combining it to create bear tree. So this is a time for creativity. This is a time for you to show up. This is a time for you not to be too good or to try to protect yourself. It's a messy time. It's a time to make mistakes, make them boldly, but without anger. All right. So that's our quick overview of our early summer. And yo, I'm looking forward to making more videos. Montague signing off.